A day after clashes on Ram Navami and violence as processions went through sensitive areas of town, now it's payback time. Bulldozers in Madhya Pradesh demolishing the property of alleged rioters after clashes during that procession yesterday in Madhya Pradesh's Khargon. The violence allegedly started over an altercation over music on loudspeakers as well as religious slogans. Over 80 people have been arrested. Their properties are now being targeted, and these are the visuals that we are bringing to you right now. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan is now saying a new law, the Madhya Pradesh Recovery of Damages Bill 2021, allows them to take this action. The political significance of the bulldozers is perhaps clear. In neighbouring Uttar Pradesh, the bulldozer and the targeting of properties of accused is right out of Chief Minister Adityanath's playbook. The recent BJP election campaign hailed him time and again as Bulldozer Baba. Let's not forget, Madhya Pradesh goes to elections next year. So what are we really seeing over here? Let's listen in to some sound bites from the Chief Minister, from police authorities in Madhya Pradesh about just what is going on here.
लेकिन खरगोन में दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना हुई है। दंगाई छोड़े नहीं जाएंगे, कठोरतम कार्रवाई की जाएगी। मध्य प्रदेश की धरती पर दंगाइयों को कोई स्थान नहीं है, चिन्हित कर लिए गए।
दंगाइयों के खिलाफ हमारी जीरो टॉलरेंस की पॉलिसी है और जो भी आदमी हमें इसमें इन्वॉल्व मिलेगा उन सब के खिलाफ हमारी कार्रवाई होगी। और अभी कुछ कार्रवाई आप देख रहे हैं कि वो कार्रवाई शुरू भी हो गई है और हर तरह से जो भी हमें लगता है कि अपराधी की कमर तोड़ने के लिए हमें आवश्यक है वो सारी कार्रवाई करें।
सर, कितने लोगों की गिरफ्तार?
अभी तक 84 लोगों की गिरफ्तार।
सर, ये बुलडोजर कब तक चलेगा सर?
देखिए, तो अब जैसे जैसे हमें ये पता चलेगा कि ये बदमाश है, बहुत सारी जगहों पे अतिक्रमण किए हैं, तो जो लीगल पूरी कार्रवाई वो करते रहेंगे लगातार।
Joining us on the program now, Shadan Farasat, the advocate in the Supreme Court. We're also being joined by Aashutosh Srivastava, also a Supreme Court lawyer. Shadan Farasat, to you first. When we see these visuals of a bulldozer going over the properties of what the Madhya Pradesh government claims are the accused in yesterday's violence, what comes to mind immediately? Questions over one-sided action being raised now. Is bulldozing of properties justified? Instant action, or are we seeing the legal process itself being bulldozed?
Yeah. So we'll come to one-sided action in a bit. But first up, there is no provision in law anywhere which allows any authority, including the police or administrative authorities, to bulldoze or destroy the houses or shops of anybody accused of a crime. Leave alone for something like alleged stone pelting. Even if you commit a murder, the police cannot come to your house, bulldoze your house or bulldoze your shop. So what is happening today is absolutely without the authority of law. Let's get that clear first, because there has to be due process. You will have to be, even if a Madhya Pradesh law envisages something, it will have to be through due process. It can't be at the ipsi dixit of the police that, okay, now I think you are the accused, you allegedly threw, so therefore I can destroy yours. What if tomorrow it is found that, this is not the person who was at all involved in it? Will the Madhya Pradesh authorities reconstruct that house? Will they reconstruct it, rebuild it? So of course, the law doesn't permit such ridiculous action. So what is happening in MP and has earlier happened in Uttar Pradesh is without the authority of law completely. There's no question about that. Second, obviously the manner in which this is being invoked, apart from being without authority of law, it is also being, I'm sure, invoked in a selective manner. So you have identified possibly members, there was, altercation between two groups. You identify one group without any basis and then you go and destroy. So obviously even the application, you show me the face and I'll show you the law is kind of being followed, that, okay, this group will target, other group will leave. So I think the entire process, I think the state should command respect in its action. Of course, whatever altercations have happened yesterday, that has to be thoroughly investigated, and whoever is found, prima facie even involved, should be arrested and placed before the courts. But this is no way to go on. It's completely unconstitutional.
Completely unconstitutional, extrajudicial also perhaps. Aashutosh Srivastava, Shivraj Singh Chauhan claiming that there is a law that has been recently passed in Madhya Pradesh. It's called the Recovery of Damages Bill 2021. But we've just brought up, what this law says, and it provides for the setting up of a tribunal to look into recovery claims. And it also goes on to say that this tribunal must have a retired judge, an IAS officer. And, this is, of course, to recover costs of damage to property during riots or protests. But having said that, the recovery of damages can happen only from those found guilty of vandalism. There has been no such tribunal constituted. So what is this law that Shivraj Singh Chauhan is then referring to, which allows authorities to immediately start bulldozing properties?
See, the states, different states in our country, they have the powers to make laws so far as the state list is concerned. So they can prepare the laws, for the benefit of the people of this country. And the law which has been made in MP, as you said, is to bulldoze the properties of the people who are involved into writing and creating a lot of...
Mr. Srivastava, however,
yes.
The law very clearly states that there has to be, that due process has to be followed.
Yes, see, the due process has to be followed as per the law, what has been framed by the state. But the state has the power to make laws. At the same time, if the accused, if he feels that the law is not feasible or is not constitutional, he has the power and he has the right to go to the Supreme Court or to the High Court to challenge the law which has been framed by the state government. If he is not satisfied that the provisions of the law are not up to the the constitutional laws or it is against the constitutional laws, then he can go.
I don't think you're really understanding my question in this instance, but Shadan Farasat also has a point to make, so let's listen to that before I take this forward.
No, I'll just respond to Aashutosh. See, this law, which is the MP law, I have seen it. It's the same law which is passed in UP, which was in rate destruction of property, the 2009 Supreme Court judgment, which said if you destroy property, then recoveries can be made from you. Now, there is a complete detailed mechanism. A High Court judge headed committee has to be appointed that will follow the due process, then determine who are the people who are actually responsible for this destruction. And thereafter, the High Court has to approve it, and then a fine can be imposed. So there is a whole process. Even that does not envisage bulldozing, just by the way. It doesn't envisage any bulldozing of anything at all. And even what it envisages is imposition of fine and collection of fine for the damage caused, and that too after detailed due process. Where is all that here? Please tell me the legal provision which is there in that law. Of course, everybody knows the state has the power to pass a law. Nobody is disputing that. The question is, there is no law, and there can't be.
Aashutosh Srivastava, I also want to bring your attention to a poster that has now come up almost overnight, and if we can get that up on our screens. A poster that, after talking about Bulldozer Baba in Uttar Pradesh, now we have Mama Ka Bulldozer. Mama is, the name that's often used for Shivraj Singh Chauhan. We saw the visuals of the bulldozer tearing down those properties. Now, immediately, within hours, we have this poster saying Mama Ka Bulldozer. And Banega Hathoda is what it says on that poster. Mama Ka Bulldozer, Banega Hathoda. What is the message that's being sent out over here?
See, the message what we all can understand, that it says that if anybody is above law and if anybody is trying to create any peace and order issues in the state, then nobody will be spared, and the law in the state will take its course. And such kind of people who are not at all interested to maintain the peace in the state will be taken for a ride. And so far as the laws in the state is concerned, there have been the laws which says that the properties of these kind of people who are breaching the peace and order of the state will be at stake, and they will be required to pay the compensation for all the kind of
what law,
issues.
Mr. Srivastava, we come back to that question. Even the law that has been passed in that state and in Uttar Pradesh has a due process that needs to be followed. But Shadan Farasat, quick last words on this, because I do have to wrap this up. The fact that you're seeing a political message being sent out so soon after what appears to be extrajudicial action, where is all this headed?
Yeah, so I think it's quite clear that they're trying to send a political message to the support base, which is saying, look how hard we come down on groups, and that's part of the whole political messaging. Of course, it's without any authority of law. It has happened in UP also in the past, and now it's happening in Madhya Pradesh. Obviously, it's a copycat act because they feel politically it has fetched them votes there. I think it's essential that these kind of actions, which are without any basis in law, prima facie unconstitutional, and prima facie unknown to any principle of criminal jurisprudence in our country, should be stopped by the courts. The people who have been impacted by this should straight away approach the appropriate courts, including the MP High Court and the Supreme Court if necessary, and seek restoration of their properties, because all of this has been done without any basis in law.
All right, Shadan, Farasat and Aashutosh Srivastava, thank you both for joining us on that discussion.